Hello, welcome back to my studio. I just wanted to take a few minutes to say thank you for your support during 2019. It's also been a lot of fun putting new videos onto YouTube this year and getting your response and finding out about your painting and whether these videos are being helpful to you. And overall, it seems like they have been helpful. So I'll definitely be keeping that up in 2020 and putting up more videos. A couple of things coming up in the new year is I'm working on a major course on gouache painting, a medium that has fascinated me for quite some time. But I've been focusing on it a lot more during 2019, and there's a whole bunch of demonstrations and techniques and how-to information that's going to be included in that course. So that's going to be a large course, and if you remain subscribed and keep in touch, or maybe you want to sign up on my website for news, you'll get in on the launch of that in early 2020. A couple of other things I wanted to just chat about briefly. Experiences that I've found other artists are having, and the sort of challenges that a lot of beginners and also some intermediate artists are facing. The biggest problems come down to time and expense. Unfortunately, a lot of people are struggling to find time to paint, and the whole creative experience, I think, has come under a lot of pressure, increasing pressure as time becomes one of our rare commodities. And it is almost a commodity, I suppose, because there are so many things trying to buy your time. Subscriptions to TV programs, channels, the tremendous growth in that demand. And I think a lot of people are feeling compelled to almost get involved and watch series, TV, and things like that. So that's a major drain on time. And, it's called entertainment and a sort of a reward for your hard work. But I see so many artists struggling to get time to paint, but they feel compelled to spend time watching quite a lot of forgettable junk on TV. So that's just one major problem. The other thing that I hear a lot about is expense. Art materials are getting more and more expensive. Now, I've thought about that quite a bit, and I know there are a few online retailers that are working hard to get cost-effective art materials out there. People like artsavingsclub.co.za in South Africa are doing a good job in discounting art materials. The other thing is, though, that I've looked back just over the past 5 years or so, and the increase of various art materials available is amazing. The fact is, you can get almost every art material your heart desires now, whether it's online or at a local shop. But with online purchasing, even at a local level, there is no shortage of art materials. As far as costs are concerned, yes, costs keep going up. However, there's a lot of pressure to purchase high-end art materials. A few years ago, I couldn't get my hands on many artist quality materials. There was perhaps one brand that was available locally. Now there's 5, 6 major artist quality brands that I can purchase. But even so, the standard of student grade paint, for the most part, has improved. And in many cases, it's hard to tell the difference. I know if you are selling expensive professional painting, the artist quality makes sense. But I think for students, there is a great choice and at very good prices. The expense issue, I think, has actually improved because of competition and choice. I think in many cases it simply comes down to motivation and the desire to paint and be creative. And when it comes down to the question of time, I know that there is time to do whatever you want. And I've argued with this with many people before, and the problem is you tell somebody, yes, you have the time, you're just not getting around to it. It forces people to get defensive about it, and they have to defend their statement that they don't have time. So the challenge in 2020, I think, is only going to get more intense as time demands just keep going up all the time. We're getting pushed. So it is the right time for everyone to say, enough with the chasing tails and giving your time away to other people and corporations who want your subscription to watch some forgettable stuff on TV. Cut all that out and schedule time with yourself. Give time back to you. That is, I think, the top present you can give yourself in the new year is the time for yourself. Don't give it away to someone else. Give yourself time to be creative. And that is incredibly important. Creative outlets, creative expression is so important. It's practically a health benefit that nobody else can give you. You can only give it to yourself. You can learn, you can watch things, and you can take in information, but you've got to get it out again with the art you create. So give yourself time in 2020 and don't let anyone else take it away. That is probably all I have to say on that point, and hopefully I won't get into any trouble arguing with people about it. Now, on another topic related to creating and producing art is more and more people are wanting to take up art. Let's say painting, for instance. The thing I want to say about that is that's fantastic, and more people need to start painting. I do want to also say you've got to stick with it. The thing is that painting, like any art form, is not easy. And that's the plain truth of it. You've got to learn the right things, but you've got to put them into practice. And you've got to break habits, and you've got to try new things and take risks. And none of that is easy. It is, in fact, damn hard to really become good at any art form. Question comes down to practice. If you can practice the right things on a regular basis, and even if you devote a half an hour a year, or half an hour there, maybe Saturday, Sunday, half hour, that is an hour of focus. It is going to help you. If you do that every week, you are going to improve. If you can get in more time than that, even better. It is also possible to paint in the evening if you have good lighting. A good strong daylight bulb or two can make it a pleasure to create in the evenings. And even when you don't feel like it, once you start and you spend 15, 20 minutes, that can turn into quite a pleasurable time. I always find that I get more energy when I'm being creative. Even if I'm dragging myself around, a few minutes into painting or drawing or something like that, I immediately start feeling better and more energetic. That is the magic of being creative. So the short thing I want to say is, yes, it is difficult. It is really difficult to master any art form. So don't be discouraged by that. In fact, let it encourage you, because the more resistance you are experiencing means that you are progressing, overcoming that hurdle and pushing through. If you don't care about getting better, painting, whatever it is, going to be quite easy and you'll just do it, but you'll never want to go any further with it, because to do that means pushing through. So it's tough, but worth it. A last thought about marketing. I know many artists are struggling tremendously to move their paintings. I'm speaking about paintings because that's what I know, but it can be any form of art. The idea of putting your paintings into galleries is still around, but is simply one choice out of many. The idea that it's the be-all and end-all for an art career, I think that is completely gone now. And galleries are just one option. There are very, very few good galleries, but there are many artists and many great artists and a lot of great artwork. Not all of it can fit in a good gallery. There are many poor galleries. I mean, in the sense of not being good businesses. They're not going to help your career. Don't sweat over them if they are not doing the work and working to promote your art and to sell your paintings. That's almost guaranteed that you can sell your paintings better than any gallery out there. So don't be shy about learning the basics of sales and marketing. You probably know a lot of it anyway. And if you're passionate about your art, it's almost assured that you'll be a better salesperson for your art than someone who's not really that keen. So what to do about marketing your art in 2020? Social media is not the solution. It is a tool at your disposal. But still, it's going to come down to you to put in the work and get people to see your paintings. Social media is one avenue. The most effective way to sell paintings, in my experience, is some form of market where you are present. In between, you can sell and keep on selling. You can promote on your website. You can promote on social media. You can put in a gallery here or there if that is available. For me, the biggest focus is select a few markets. Maybe you live in a big area that has a constant market available for artists. In that case, use it. Maybe it's on a weekend or it's all week long. But for most of us, I would say the art fairs and art markets are for a limited time at certain times of the year. So what I do is I select one or two of those big ones, important ones, and try and get my art seen by as many people in as short a space of time as possible. So I create paintings with the intention of building up 20 to 30 really nice pieces of art that I will market at these art fairs or art markets during the year. And as I say, I will target one or two, maybe a third, but invariably I can only really put in the effort for one or two at most and really go in for it in a big way. We've got the right people there all the time, coming in all the time, and you are also there to interact with them. And I find that also the limited duration of it encourages people to buy paintings as well. As far as pricing goes, I believe in pricing to sell. I am not in the game of trying to manipulate a price and create a false market. I am realistic. There are many other artists with fantastic paintings. I'm competing with them and they are competing with me. Although our work is unique, when you're selling to a collector, you need to connect with that potential collector. They need to connect with your artwork, but they will consider price. Where you fix your price ultimately is going to come up with what you are satisfied with, what you believe is the right price in the market you are in the simply in that stage of your career as well. It is not too difficult to find a sort of middle line, and you can place yourself above it or even below it, depending on where you are. I want my prices to be competitive. I'm not giving things away, but I'm also not trying to create a perception which isn't based on reality. As general as that may seem, that's how it works for me. Then a final comment about marketing as well is, don't give up too much of your time to marketing, but rather give a fairly small amount of time every day. Make it part of your day to think about marketing. It could be putting up a few pictures on social media, and it could be writing an article for your blog, an update, anything like that, any news. Often you find the recommendations are to spend, for example, put up stories on Instagram, which is very hot at the moment. So stories. The recommendations are have 5 images every day. Now, I've thought about that. I've also considered how long it takes me to produce a few pictures of good quality. You can't just put a poor snapshot from a smartphone up as well. It's just going to look bad, not be a good reflection on you. So you end up having a decent photo. 5 of them a day. That easily takes up an hour of your time. You've got to think about it, you've got to do it, you've got to tweak the photo, you've got to think of things to say. So that's an hour of the day. And I believe an hour that's really hard to get or to justify for something that's going to last 24 hours. So stories are something, that's just one thing. The problem for me is 24 hours, spending an hour a day for something that's going to be gone in 24 hours. You decide if that works for you or not. I prefer something that is evergreen and keeps coming back. So for me, things like Pinterest, my blog, and YouTube. YouTube is really awesome because of the video. But you can put video on Pinterest now as well, which is working fantastically. But I can re-promote that material, that content. It's up there forever, and new people are seeing it all the time. Now that makes sense to me. That's my 2 cents worth on social media. I want you to have as much creative fun as you can. Creating more art is going to be important, especially with the demands that are going to keep coming at us, ever growing and faster into the new decade we are going into. Exciting times probably, and interesting times. So remain positive, embrace change, do as much art as you can, learn as much as you can, and just take part. I think that's important. Just take part in this life and give some freedom to yourself and give more time to yourself to be creative. Okay, that is my general ramble to end off the year. And as I said, once again, just a big thank you to you for your support and showing interest. And I wish you a great new year.